watch my Instagram story. I am making this video for you guys. So for those of you who don't know what encephalitis is, which I'm sure is the majority of you, the full given name for this disorder is Anti NMDA receptor encephalitis. Each part of the name has a meaning. I'm going to read that to you guys right from Google. You can look it up yourself. But anti stands for autoimmune response. NMDA receptor stands for against NMDA receptors in the brain. So it's like an attack on the brain. And encephalitis is the causing swelling and disruption in brain signaling. I just blanked for a second, y'all. But that's the meaning of the name. I feel like telling the story will help you all understand exactly what happened to me. So if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at notes. When did I start noticing any signs or symptoms of encephalitis? I would say in August was around the time when things really started getting weird for me. Like my whole body started changing. So I was diagnosed with something called vertigo, and it's basically where something is off in your mind. You know how you stand up really fast? That's how it feels. Like it's like that often. So I was diagnosed with vertigo. I was given medication, and I'm thinking, okay, you know, they gave me medication for it. I don't know where it came from, but I guess I'm gonna be all right now. So that's August, and I was diagnosed with encephalitis in March. So leading up to March, there was a lot of weird things happening to my body, and I remember I would be calling my mom and be like, Mom, I don't feel good, like my right leg is tingling and my arm feels like this. So I just kept telling my mom, you know, I don't feel good. She's like, you can go to the doctor, I'm gonna schedule an appointment, or you can schedule an appointment. And I was just like, I don't know, it's just like, I feel so weird. I was tired all the time. Like my friends were saying, Jordan, you seem like you always tired, you always look tired. And it was just like concerning. I knew something was wrong with me at the time, but I just couldn't place what it was. So I just tried to, you know, just keep going through the motions and living life. My roommate, she found me seizing one day. It was like maybe the 1st or 2nd of March, early March. It was my first semester of college. No, at this point I was in my 2nd semester of college, but not that far in. It was early March. So I'm in my room. I remember trying to get out my bed. That's what I remember. But next thing you know, I'm opening my eyes and I'm in my friend's room, and I'm like, how did I get here? And I remember asking them how I got there, and they just all looking at me like, and I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And everybody's like, and then my friend / roommate at the time was like, Jordan, you just had a seizure. And like the ambulance are on their way, and there's people in the hallway just like looking. And the last thing I remember is being in the ambulance and them telling my roommate she couldn't come with me. My mom was like upset because my mom was on the phone. She like, what's going on? You know, she can't get in the ambulance with her. And they were like, no, because COVID. So COVID really messed up a lot of stuff. Like visitation was hard, like getting in the ambulance. Like I was in the ambulance 3 times throughout this whole process, like throughout this whole situation. I had 3 ambulances come pick me up. So that was the first one when I was at school. They didn't know what happened to me. The hospital near my school, they didn't really even care. They were just like, you got epilepsy. We're gonna, you know, fill medication. We're gonna fill a prescription for you to take, you know, should help with the seizures, send you on your way. My mom was like, sis, discharge yourself. I'm gonna take you to another hospital. So my mom ended up, I can't remember this part. It's like a large gap from that hospital to like whatever else happened, but I do remember ending up at a better hospital, and my primary care is through that hospital. Yeah, my primary care is through that hospital. So my mom was like, I'm gonna take you there. You know, they're gonna figure it out. So she takes me, they say the same thing. They're like, I think it's epilepsy. Like she probably just has epilepsy, send you on your way. So I go home with my mom, and I remember I was in the shower. I was showering. I don't think I thought about anything too much. Like between August and March, I don't think I thought a lot about anything. Like really, I'm surprised that I was even in school doing schoolwork, because I could not think. Like I had extremely horrible focus. Like I could not focus on anything. So I was in the shower, never really thought about anything in the shower. I get out the shower. I remember walking down the hallway and then I like blanked out. I just blanked out. So next thing you know, I'm in the ambulance again. Come to find out, I had a seizure. Go back to the hospital. My mom is like, this is outrageous. She was told twice she had epilepsy. She doesn't have epilepsy. Something else is going on. I go back to the hospital that I had first went to with my mom. She like rushed me there. I remember going to the hospital and it was a lot of tests, like blood tests. It was a spinal tap, I believe an EEG. Let me see if they're gonna list that on the website I'm looking at. Yep, so I had an MRI, I had an EEG, blood test, a spinal tap, and I don't think I had the EMG, but that's what it says on here too. But I did have those tests. And that's when they finally told my mom, they said she has encephalitis, which is like a rare autoimmune disease. They basically explained it to her. And they were like, we're gonna have to start her treatment. So they started the treatment. It didn't work at first because I was having like a lot of seizures, so many seizures a day. I just kept having them like back to back. And eventually, because at first I didn't have auras, so that's why I would say I blacked out, because I didn't really know I was having the seizures. Had the seizure and then snap back. But this is where it started to become painful for me, because I would remember the seizure. Like my hands would shake, that would be my aura. So whenever I would feel my hands moving, I would just say to my mom, like, it's about to happen. And that would be enough time like to just warn somebody that something was about to happen so they would know. And that was a lot. That was a hard time. Like when I just kept having the seizures and they couldn't figure out what medication was gonna work for me. That was a lot. And that was a time where that was a blank time for me. I don't remember anything because it wasn't much for me to remember. So eventually, I think, you know, they started figuring it out. They were like, okay, we're just gonna keep trying stuff on her. For treatment, I had IVIG, so that definitely helped me out. It was through an IV that I was given majority of my treatments. I was given pills, and I didn't know how to take pills before I was hospitalized, but now I pop them joints like nobody's business because I had to take so much medication. Following my treatment, I had to go to rehab. So when I first was diagnosed, I was losing my ability to walk, my ability to talk. I couldn't spell, I couldn't do basic math. I couldn't do a lot of the things that somebody my age is supposed to be able to do. Couldn't. Like even showers, I had to get help bathing, like showering. Every time I went to the bathroom, I had to press a button to let somebody know that I had to go to the bathroom because I couldn't go by myself. And I hated it. I hated every second of it. I just remember being so upset that I couldn't do anything for myself. So going to rehab, it was really nice because I started making friends with like people who were going through stuff that was similar. I started having more contact with people. Like I would talk to my physical therapist, my nurses. Like I was actually able to communicate again. And just being able to go to speech therapy, physical therapy. It was another type of therapy that I had, which is basically like I'm practicing how to do things that I normally do at home. So like cooking, following instructions to bake something, or following instructions to cook something, or to put together a puzzle, travel around the hospital and pick out certain things and add them up. Basic stuff like that. You know, I had to learn how to be a part of the community again because I didn't know. I hadn't left the hospital in over a month at that point. I still wasn't allowed to leave the hospital. And the first time I did leave the hospital, I had to wear a leash because they wanted to make sure I didn't fall. So in case I had a seizure, like in the middle of the street or something, they wanted to make sure that they could like grab me. So it was quite the trip for everyone. Like not just for me, for my family, for those who love and care about me, support me. Like it was a lot for everybody that was involved. It was a lot. This is my version of the story, and let me tell you, it's all out of whack. because I'm not supposed to even remember a lot of this stuff. The type of disorder that I have, like, it doesn't allow me to remember certain things. There's gaps all throughout 2021 I can't remember. If you guys want to know more about my encephalitis, please comment down below so I can make a part 2, because I feel like I was just trying to make this as to the point as possible, but just enough so that you guys can hear, you know, my side of the story.